Hey, hi traders. Happy Labor Day to all our followers. And this being the first day of the month, we are really excited because every time there's a first day of anything, you expect some kind of activity. And so today, as we'll be looking at the calendar, we will see a lot of movement later in the evening. But then again, let's first welcome everyone. Hi guys, everyone who's joining in. Welcome to this market snapshot. And today we're just going to have a look at a review of yesterday, what happened yesterday. And yesterday we were looking at GDP. Sorry, we were looking at the card, right? The GDP, the gross domestic product, month on month. And I'd say that if the numbers come out negative, we expect the Canadian dollar to weaken. And we can see that that's really what happened, right? We'll have a look at our charts and see how that played out. And so this negative number led to a weak Canadian dollar. And of course, the dollar also over here, the employment cost index strengthened the dollar. So we had two things playing out, and we'll see what happened on our charts. However, today being on Wednesday, so let's look at what we're looking at in the markets today. So our main focus will be mainly on basically the PMI. So basically here we're looking at, it measures the health of the economy, right? Because here you're looking at what purchasing managers are seeking in the market, and at times it tends to tell how healthy the economy is, right? Because here you're looking at a lot of things. You're looking at employment, you're looking at supplies, you're looking at deliveries, you're looking at inventories. And so it captures a whole aspect of an economy, right? And so what we really need to look at is basically the whole sphere and see how the numbers play out. Because if you look at the forecast, traders are expecting it to be at 50. So any number higher than 50, and if it's actually higher than the previous one, then it becomes strengthens the dollar. So if, let's say, the numbers come out at 50.5, that would be a really good number, However, if the numbers come out less than 50, then that will lead to a weakening dollar. So these are some of the things that we really anticipate to come out later. And as traders, we really need to be on the watch because this will be happening at 5 p.m. GMT +3 East African time. There's also, at the same time, we'll be having the JOLTS job openings. Basically, here you're looking at number of jobs that are open excluding the farming industry, right? Just like what we expect on Friday, the non-farm payrolls numbers coming out away from other sectors, away from farming. So in this case, these are the job openings that are yet to be filled up, right? So guys, the jobs have been advertised, and here guys have really not taken up those slots. So that tells you basically that when an economy is creating jobs, it's a positive for the currency. It strengthens the currency, right? So JOLTS job openings is something that we really need to look at, and it tells you how the economy is performing in terms of how healthy is it. Because if an economy is not doing so well, you don't expect it to create jobs for people, right? However, if the economy is doing well, industries are coming up, manufacturing factories are coming up, tech is growing, banking industry is growing. Those are jobs being filled up, in the economy. So it's really ideal that we look at this, and it will help us basically in our analysis of the dollar. So if this number comes out higher than 8.68 let's say the number comes out at 8.70, if the number was to come up maybe higher than previous 8.76, so probably have a number of we have 8.8 then that really basically would lead to a very strong dollar, because now it encompasses what happened in the previous month. So these numbers, if they come out negative, anything less than 8.68 then of course that's a negative for the dollar, and so you'll expect the dollar to weaken. So those are the two things that I was really looking at. However, we can see what will happen later from 9 p.m. So we have the Fed interest rate decision that traders are anticipating that there will be no hike. The consensus is that the number will still remain at 5.50. Remember, the Fed has been trying to fight inflation to bring it down to 2%. And so until then, we still have to see whether these guys will make a decision. And what really matters is what we will see at the FOMC statement at the same time. So basically, here we will see what the Federal Open Market Committee, which comprised of different governors of the different central banks in the different states in the US, what these guys will be told, what are their views, right? Basically on whether they are more hawkish, or maybe if some of them are dovish, have started being dovish. And so we really need to look at it. And then, of course, there will be now the FOMC press conference. So this is where now the Fed chair will be taking up questions after reading out that whole long speech and whatever it is that they've decided and everything. So it's important that you take note of this. From 9, we really expect volatility as traders, so be geared for that. So ideally, we say as traders, you really need to avoid some of these volatilities at times. However, if you have a trading plan that has clear support and resistance areas that you can go to, just go in, right? Yeah. So that's really what we have today on a Wednesday. So expect a lot of jam-packed volatility coming in. Also, 11:15, we'll see the Bank of Canada Governor McClellan speaking. Then again, guys, just stay away. Maybe just sleep, have fun. Let's gear up for Thursday tomorrow. So anyway, we have a lot of this. So let's go back to our charts and see how we could probably see some movements moving forward. It being on a Labor Day, we may see less volatility. But then again, let's see how that plays out on our charts. So let's go to our charts. So we can see the analysis we had yesterday. We can see the analysis we had yesterday. And so remember that news that came out at 3:30. Look at the impact of the GDP news and the employment index. So the Canadian dollar weakened, and so the dollar reigned supreme and went to our target level, which was what we had said here. Last week's high. I remember me drawing this particular price level. For more on this, kindly look at the video, yesterday's video. And so I anticipated a drop from that move. Yes, sellers came in. We can see some bears coming in. We can see this red candle over here. I think there was a drop of at least 25 pips. Then again, we can see the whole move. So this sell was invalidated. However, maybe for someone who was a scalper, they could have walked away with at least maybe 20 pips, 25 pips from this move. But then again, let's see what we will be looking at today. So we'll need to remove everything here and maybe seek opportunities. So once again, let's try and look at what's holding back USD CAD. Could be this candle over here. This candle over here is the one that is holding back, because if you go to lower time frames, you could see it pinned that candle, and then bears came in for around 20 pips. So price has been operating around this price level. So we would want to see how that shapes up. And so as we head into the news, we can see this bullish candle. So the market still speaks of a bullish move. So maybe I would want to map out last month's high. That's a high that we probably would be interested in seeing. So there's a possibility that we could see USD card, but first, before the bullish run, maybe we could see some bears coming in. So I would really be interested to see how price reacts to maybe this drop. So we need to look at some sweet spots that we could probably seek opportunities on. One of the areas that is really interesting on this particular setup is that we can see a lot of bullish momentum, but then again, how long will this be sustained? So if I were to look for opportunities, I would really want to see that push to the downside. I would really want to see a push to the downside to 37.16 maybe, and then now a further bullish run. I would be interested in this bullish run, and the area I would want to enter from is probably here. So that would probably be my interest, and basically this is something that we really need to look at. Remember, like yesterday, you really need to have confirmations before you take on these trades. Make sure that at least you've seen a reason as to why you're going long. Remember, this is purely an educational analysis. So yeah, that probably would be some good outlook, seeing a bullish run to 38.46. Right? Based on the news that are coming out, this is a possibility. Right, especially if we see the JOLTS openings, a better number than the forecast, then we could see the dollar strengthening. Yeah, and also the SP manufacturing. So it's something else that we could probably maybe a bullish run to that price level. So the other thing is probably, let's look at another currency, Euro USD. So Euro USD has been bearish, hit a bearish move. So let's seek some of these areas to try and understand where price is headed to. So I had mapped these areas, so let's remove everything and map it afresh. Okay, so of particular interest will probably be higher time frames. Remember, it's always ideal for us to look at higher time frames first, so that we can have a better understanding of where the market is, where it's headed. And so when you look at higher time frames, we'll be interested in looking at levels that could be hit, possibly long term. So one of the areas that could be an area of support will be, sorry guys, 1.0443, because this is last year's low, the low of 2023. So that's a possible area where you could seek opportunities to go long, right? But then we need to map out other areas, and one of the areas of interest is probably here. We can see 1.0594 as a possible area of support. So with that, maybe now that becomes easier, because we're able to now to probably seek these opportunities. So if the dollar strengthens, of course, we expect the further tanking of Euro USD, right? Yeah. So if the dollar strengthens, then Euro USD will have to take a hit. But before then, we expect maybe a bullish run and then a bearish move. Probably we could probably seek maybe that price level. anywhere around there. Maybe we could see a bullish run to probably that price level, and then now the continuation of the bearish move. If the dollar maybe if the dollar strengthens as we head into the news and FOMC. So I'll really be interested in seeing whether we can see this move, maybe a bullish run to anywhere around there. Right, maybe I will want to map out another area of support based on that. So that's like 10 pips. So a 10 pips difference. So that's an area of interest. And then maybe after that, we could probably now see a drop to this price level. Yeah, so that's a possibility that we'll see on Euro USD moving forward, right? Yeah, so a bullish run would be ideal right now as we head into New York session, and then maybe now a bearish move to those lows. That's Euro USD. Let's look at USD CHF. You were bullish on USD CHF yesterday, and you can see it went to our price targets. So we can see that bullish run to we had drawn up 92.12, and this was based on the monthly. This is why, guys, you see me saying that we really need to look at our time frame. So what we had done is that we had mapped out the 50 EMA, the 50 moving average on the monthly, and that's where price went to, right? So there we can see some bit of maybe some resistance, but then again, if the dollar comes out strong, we should see a further push. We should see a further push. But then again, we first need to see some retracement. If we were to see some retracement, maybe because of this resistance over here, maybe let's see what kind of a resistance maybe we could probably see. Yeah, maybe let me try and map out an area that we'll want to see maybe USD CHF come to. Yeah, so this is last week's high, right? So what we're trying to do is, if this market was to do something of interest over here, I would really want them to come and test last week's high, which was resistance. But now this resistance will turn into support, right? So let me remove everything so that we can have something clear cut. So once again, we need to map out that monthly. We need to map out that monthly. Yeah, so let's do this. Go to that monthly, that moving average. And then now go to last week's high, which is this one over here. All right. So if we were to look for opportunities over here, then we'll probably want to see a drop. That will be a really good move. If we were to see this possible drop for around 54 pips, and then a final push up, it will be an interesting play. It will be a really interesting play. Yeah, something of the sort, right? But first, we need to see some bears coming in. Just like we've seen on Euro USD, maybe we want to see some bulls coming in and then maybe a final push now. So it's the same as USD CHF. We anticipate the same move. GBP USD, we tended to be bullish. The market came, we saw some support, but then again, this analysis was invalidated. So what happened is that there was a strong bearish push, and we can see now an invalidation of this particular setup. So what do? We need to remove everything and seek new opportunities. Okay. Yes, so once again, seek higher time frames, trying to understand the market. And so what we have over here, we can see some bit of moving averages there. I will not want to work with those ones. Let's go to the daily. You can see some strong resistance over here. But then again, let's look at H4. Yeah, so I will want to map out maybe that price level. So if you were to see a push to 25.17, some bullish push, right, to that price level, it would really be a good area, or even maybe a further push, because this being GBP is volatile. It can easily hit 25.46. Now this candle over here. So if GBP/USD was to make that push, then from there I would really want to see maybe a bearish run after that push. Maybe what I would want to see is that, and then maybe a bearish push to probably let's look at the weekly. Is that a long-term play? Yeah, it's possible. We could probably see that happen. But let me try and narrow it down. To probably this price level. Remember, these are levels that you map as a trader, right? And 75 pips. You can easily do that. So yeah, that will be an interesting outlook. Maybe if G was to do this, it will be good. It will be good on my end. And maybe some other area you could be interested in would be probably there, 24.53, right? The first target will probably be there, and then maybe now if the market, if the FOMC comes out really volatile, we could see another further push. So yeah, that will be an interesting play on on GBP USD. Sorry. Okay, so USD JPY. Remember, guys, yesterday I said USD JPY is a buy. Don't look for opportunities to short. Don't you dare try shorting this pair. But then again, we can see what happened yesterday. There was a whole bullish run from what I said. Clearly, we probably would want to see maybe USD JPY coming to these highs. It's a possibility. This pair has been doing a lot of things that many traders don't understand. But then again, in such a situation, I would normally advise someone to stay away from a currency pair or an asset that does not observe your technicals. Why? Because the moment you start trading such a currency, probably what you're doing is gambling, right? Because you do not have a clear-cut directional bias or something. So I would want to stay away from such a pair, because we have like hundreds, or if not 1,000 assets that you can work with over here. Yeah, so gold, I'm still waiting. As you can see, gold, I'm still waiting for gold to come to 22.34. So it's still not there. So we can see yesterday I said the push should be down. We should be looking at opportunities to short. So we can see the short that happened on gold yesterday. So just like the other pairs, maybe a bullish run and then a drop, just like what we've seen on GBP USD. Would want to see that. So I can only buy maybe gold once price level hits 2234. Right? Then again, I will have to look at my confirmations if gold gets to that price level. Remember, I insist, like yesterday, as long as we still have that uncertainty in the US, we still have, President Trump as the Republican candidate, and yet he has a court case. As long as we still have the Middle East flare-ups, the whole Israeli Middle East war. So it's a messed up world, and so investors tend to put their money in gold, as a safe haven. So Audi USD. Audi USD also was a flop. So you'll want to. I was looking at a bullish push. We were looking at a bearish push. So by the time of analysis, we are looking at this drop to here. Then again, you can see what really happened. There was a further push. And so let's remove everything. Yeah, I'll be handling your questions. Please, let me finish off with the Audi USD analysis. And the NZD USD and the Bitcoin, then I can handle the questions. Yeah, so just like the other pairs, we will want probably to see a bullish move. A bullish move and then a continuation of the bearish move. So remember, just like what I had said yesterday, the dollar has been speaking more of a bullish stance. So I would want to seek these opportunities. So let's see what the potential areas that would want to see Audi USD hit. So go to the weekly, go to the daily. Okay. So on the daily, I would probably want to map out some other price level over here. That one, and then go to H4. So we have those two areas that will be of interest. So our work as traders is maybe to make a projection on possible price levels, and then maybe first move would probably be here, this candle. So I would probably would want to see this push, a bullish push. Let's look at H1 first, and then So a bullish push would probably be an interesting play over here. Maybe here or 65.19, either one of those areas, and then maybe a drop to that price level and the low of last week, which is here, 64.08. So those two areas will be an interesting play on our DUSD. NZD DUSD, we can also see I was bearish until this price level, and then from then I was looking for opportunities to buy, but then you can see what happened. And if you look at the NZD news earlier on, we can see that bearish move on the Kiwi. So let's remove let's remove these analyses. Okay, so go to higher time frames. look at the lows, so we can see a particular a low that is of interest here. Last year's low, that's like 100 pips away, right? That would be an interesting area to go long if price gets there and you have the right confirmation. So we can see this low from last year. So that will be an ideal area. I'll be really on the watch out when it comes to NZD USD, because that's a sweet spot. That's a sweet spot area. So what happened on what has happened right now, as we can see on NZD USD, is that it hit last week's low. As you can see, the formation of something like a hammer over here. So it hit last week's low, and then the buyers, they're trying to push the market up. And this is in line with what we've seen with the other pairs also, right? They're pushing the market up. So let's look for opportunities, areas where you could probably go short. Yeah, so probably I will want to map out this area. Yeah, so if you were to get this push, let's go to H4. Last month's low, we can see also something of interest here. Last month's low is also an area of interest before we get to last year's low. So last month's low is there, 58.50. So I would be interested in seeing something of the sort. Maybe a bullish run right now, maybe to that price level, and then a bearish move to last month's low. Yeah, that's it. What about Bitcoin? Wow, so Bitcoin, remember we were bearish on Bitcoin up until 59.02, but you can see it has breached that price level. It's at 57.07, and so this is why we normally say, if you're a crypto trader, you really need to understand some bit of market analysis, because most Bitcoin traders were buying, especially newbies, were buying Bitcoin at 71, 74, expecting a further bullish run. But then you can see what has happened, right? So there's a lot of guys who really lost some good amount of money over here. So always buy the dips, and this is probably what we were looking at. But then we've seen that area has been breached. And so what we can look at is probably other areas probably where Bitcoin is headed to. So we can see some moving average holding over here. So you can see some kind of support on this moving average. So the other area we would be interested in is probably this candle over here. Yeah, so it will be interesting to see what Bitcoin does when it gets to 51.74, if it's coming there, right? Because I would probably now seek opportunities to go long at that price level. Maybe, yeah, something of the sort. Yeah, so that's it. So probably let me look at your questions. So what are your questions? Why is gold selling? Wow, interesting. Yeah, so gold now is getting more influenced by the dollar, right? Wow, I can see also an area of support over here. I hadn't seen this moving average on the daily on Bitcoin, so I was actually looking at more of the weekly. I was mapping out this candle. So we can see some other area of support lining up, which is a 200 moving average. So gold is selling Salvation Ministry. The sell on gold is courtesy of the strong dollar. So right now, gold is not acting as a safe haven, because when it acts as a safe haven, it tends to be bullish. So right now, what's happening on gold is that it's playing out as a currency that's in line with the other pairs that have the USD as the quote currency. Now that will be the only explanation. Any expectation for FOMC? Martinez, wow. There isn't much. The market doesn't. Let us read an article over here. There's an article I saw that guys are not expecting so much out of the FOMC. But then again, you see, these are just guys saying, nobody really knows. Huh? But let's look at this article. What traders were saying. So let's look at these. So Martinez, if you look at what these guys are saying, after 3 straight hotter than expected inflation reports, the Fed officials have turned more cautious about the prospect of interest rate cuts this year. So you see the caution part, it's like the Fed guys are like, hey, we really cannot cut interest rates if the inflation keeps going high, because if you cut rates, it means now loans become cheaper and guys now can access loans, and now they'll start buying, they'll be on a spending spree, and the inflation will continue going up. So the big question after they end their latest policy meeting Wednesday, that's today, will they still signal rate cuts at all this year? So this is what most guys are waiting to see, and this is something that we'll see a lot of volatility coming in. Now envision just a single rate cut. Guys were talking about three rate cuts this year to the Fed's benchmark rate, now at 23-year high of 5.3% after 11 hikes. So a lot of guys are really skeptical when it comes to the rate cuts. Guys are like, is it possible, right? But then again, we may be surprised, Yeah. So kindly, I'll probably want you to look at some of these articles. There's another article over here that I was looking at. Here is everything we expect when the Fed wraps up its meeting on Wednesday. So faced with stubborn inflation, remember, once again, it's all about inflation. There's no way these guys can cut the rates when the inflation is still high, because that means the inflation will keep ballooning, courtesy of now guys having more money to spend, right? That has raised concerns about where policy is headed. The Fed has been ensnared in a holding pattern that likely will be reflected when it closes its meeting Wednesday. So today is that do or die. So Buire, your expectation on FOMC meeting today? Maybe the conference will tell us more when Powell will be taking up the questions. That's when you can see more on the outlook. But then we don't expect much to change, right? But maybe they could come up with answers on when they expect the next rate cuts. So in such situations, I normally say you'd rather be away from the market, but if your trading plan says that you want this volatility, then by all means go in, right? Yeah, so be wary, make sure that you're using risk management when you're coming in, because a lot of volatility will happen today. That's almost for sure. There'll be some volatility. Yeah. How do you trade on a breakout in terms of sell or a buy? So this is where you use pending orders. Thomas, you'll want to use a buy stop order or a sell stop order if you're doing the breakout. Alternatively, you can wait for a test of a resistance that now turns into support and go long. Yeah, so utilize pending orders basically, Thomas. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also an article over here that from our mother company, all eyes on FOMC from Equity. So probably let me share this with you so that we can see what our analysts are saying. So we can see balance sheet policy adjustment loom large. That's basically the bonds. Language cues to provide crucial insights. So yes, remember what I've just said. Powell will be the determiner over here, especially during the conference. My as the FOMC convenes with no anticipated shifts in monetary policy or updated economic projections, the notion of disregarding this month's meeting may seem tempting for traders. However, such complacency will be misguided. So there's uncertainty surrounding the FOMC meeting, right? Because of basically more on inflation, right? Despite expectations of inflation moderating towards the 2% target, the economy witnessed stronger than anticipated growth. So yeah, the inflation was high to 3.5% earlier this month, you see, fueled by escalating energy, housing, and insurance costs. So really, there's a whole lot of uncertainty today. And in such situations, it's always ideal that as a trader, you think twice if you're going into this market. If you decide to go all in, just make sure that then your risk management should be on top. Don't try and go for a big lot size and you know your account can't handle, right? Yeah. Just manage your trades. Have capital to trade tomorrow. Basically, that's what I normally say. Make sure that you don't blow up your money today, and yet tomorrow you'll have those great opportunities. And if you're a trader if you've been a trader for a long time, you'll agree with me. It's when you blow your account when you start seeing those clear cut, setups, the ones that are so crystal clear that you at times even tend to be greedy on them. But then you don't have money to fund your account at that point in time. So yeah, just make sure that you have a trading plan that tells you how to trade this one, and risk management should be your core. Okay, any other question? No more questions. So thank you guys for attending this session. Enjoy your Labor Day. Cheers.